Meanwhile, in the National Vet.
I love that.
What?
Rusty Nailz.
Hey.
Little Tommy. I'm Sully. On the air is, what's what I'm looking for? On the air.
Yeah, as well. Says it all, doesn't it? On the air. Now.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm excited about today.
I'm super excited about today, too. One of my favorite people in the whole world, Cookie Chainsaw Randolph, is
Yes.
our guest.
Oh, my.
Chainsaw.
Yeah.
In the Dave Shelley Chainsaw.
I know. I think that completes the three of it, right?
Yeah.
The trilogy.
Yes, but I do want to get Emily in here, and I'd like to get Boyer in here, and
Yeah.
maybe Abramowitz.
You know who I want to get in here? I want to get the white glove guys.
Oh, the ASI, the wife glove guys.
I guess they're brothers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see them so much.
Hey, white glove guys, come
yeah.
on the show with us.
Bring your white gloves.
It would be terrific to get
them at the live show.
Just to get San Diegans that are familiar, get their
yeah.
backstory.
Absolutely.
Like maybe the guy's a great baseball player or something, or maybe the guy's
Ralph Rubio, come on down.
Yes.
You brought us the fish taco.
Mayor Kevin Faulkner has agreed to come in, but he's a little busy these days.
Yeah.
As well. But
I got a great story about his wife.
Catherine?
I
love Catherine Faulkner.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. So go ahead.
Well, if I say it improperly, we might get bumped off the air because...
Then don't say it.
No, it was a training video that we made for Sleepy.
Oh,
what's that bear that... anyway, some hotel chain.
I remember you did a commercial.
Yes, a commercial.
And she was in the commercial.
Yes, we were the husband and wife.
Many years ago.
Right.
Yes.
And it was a hot summertime day, and we were in a hotel room all day with video cameras and sweating a lot. And if you just no, I know. And if you say that up front, you get in trouble.
No, you have to say I was doing a commercial.
Training, yes.
Right.
Yes. So there's my.
I didn't know she was an actress.
Yeah.
In fact, we should have the first lady on.
Absolutely.
Oh, she's great.
First of all, I put, as you know, we've been talking a little bit about having a live studio audience in here, which would be great.
Come
So I
on.
wouldn't have to play because they're here. You just can't see them.
Good. The balcony is full. It
But
really is.
Russ had a great idea on how to choose the audience because first of all, you need to go to our Facebook page at On The Air SD, which is also on Instagram. But Rusty, take it away. Tell them what your idea is to get people in here.
Well, first of all, Cookie inspired this because he's funny as all get out.
Yeah,
and
Cookie Chainsaw Randolph.
And we jam in comedy. I could do a setup to a joke.
Jam, man.
He could do the punchline like musicians jam. I'm thinking comedians can do that. Fun guy, and I want jokes because I'm out of material. So I'm thinking if we go to the Facebook and On The Air SD, I believe is our Facebook.
On the interweb.
On the interweb, and you ask, dial it up, and there we are. I want you to send me a joke or a link to a joke. You don't have
So
to.
just post a joke.
Post a joke. Joke posters.
Okay.
Beware.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick the best joke, and I'm going to tell it at the opening, and hopefully have you in the audience, unless you're out of town or something. I don't care. We're not going to move the opening of the live show. But what I'm saying is,
So we're going to pick the audience.
pick the winner.
Oh, pick a winner. Okay.
And have them come to the.
And you'll tell the joke?
I'll tell the joke.
And that's like a 10-second payoff.
Yeah, well, it's the build-up, Bob. It's the participation that San Diego now is. Hey, I just thought of this a minute ago.
No,
people.
this is
Tommy's the Hall of Fame
Why don't you do this?
producer.
If you want to come, this is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I want people
Is
there.
that we'll tape the show.
Yeah.
We'll have a meet and greet with whoever the guest is. Like today would have been Cookie Chainsaw Randolph. You missed it. Russ will warm you up. We'll have live music. I know a band.
Do you know a band?
I know a band.
Yeah,
And they
you
can
know a
play.
band.
And then we'll have like a barbecue or something.
I'd like-
Mike Hess will, supply the beverages, or AleSmith, or one of the local.
Or maybe
brewers.
Ralph Rubio come by with some tacos.
Right.
You got
But we'll do an event.
huh?
Don't
The
you know?
white glove guys shaking hands.
Did
It's
you ever
safe.
do events like that? Like when you had like listeners come by.
We had live audience Friday.
Yeah.
So this is nothing new. I
No,
think.
that's in the Hall of Fame.
What was Live Audience Friday?
We do our show with the live audience
There we
And
go.
where did you do this?
at the radio station.
And how many people were there?
About 30.
Really?
It was a nice studio.
was
if
great.
I
I
recall.
didn't know that.
Hasn't been there, but yeah.
Absolutely.
Was it now? Can we rip off some of that? Because you guys are very successful. Hall of Fame producer, radio Hall of Fame producer, Russ.
Little
sorry,
Tommy, yeah.
I misspoke.
Yes,
Little
you did.
Tommy.
Of course you can rip that stuff off.
So what? So give me an idea. Was it like people? Did you have meet and greet before and they shook hands?
And it was catered. You know what?
Well, we're not gonna do
ironically,
wait a minute.
Ironically, it was catered by Rubio.
Really?
Ralph Rubio catered
sure.
it. Yeah.
Well, we have a beer sponsor, so that's close enough.
So now did you like warm them up? Like, were you the guy that walked out? And
I actually was. I was the one that kind of orchestrated everything,
Yeah.
During commercials and during the music and saying, okay, ready here.
Right.
Start
Start
will
clapping.
applause.
Will you do that again?
Absolutely.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you'll do the stand-up?
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
gonna- I'll just
No, we
sit
used to
here.
do these too. 9 to an X morning show at the Improv. We'd go down there a lot, comedy clubs and stuff. But restaurants, yeah, we do them at different places. They're fun. Live shows, live audience.
But listen to me.
Nobody shows up to it. Like, here's the real difference in radio.
Yeah.
I'm a talk show host. You do a live. I'm doing a live show.
Yeah.
You know
There's
what?
like you,
Seven.
like the same 6 people that go to get a $5 off coupon at Dunkin' Donuts show up. That's the only people
But
that
if
are
we
there.
have Rubio's Tacos and, Mike has brew right there.
Did I ever tell you the one time I did do a live remote was at before an Aztec game, and
That's a crowd.
Hooters was sponsoring the food because if you do a live remote, they always give away stuff.
Great
right?
chicken.
Right.
Yes.
Great chicken. We're going to give away hand sanitizer.
Chicken wings.
at our
That's
thing. But the point is that I said. So they had these Hooters girls there, and the big promotion was we were going to give away 1,000 chicken wings.
Uh-oh.
And the girl came on, and we're supposed to interview the girl. So I said something like, "So, 1,000 chicken wings. How many chickens is that?"
Little math. Pop
And,
quiz.
and it was like 1,000 or something.
Yeah, right.
And her dad sued me and Coco for me
Making her look a little-
making her look. And I said my excuse was like she's a Hooters girl. I mean, at some point.
Well,
Wow.
So, but yeah, that was my. And they never let. The other time too.
Did you pay?
No,
Yeah.
no. But I had to go.
Thrown out.
We had to go do a thing where I had to go like apologize. Like I had to go to Hooters, and I'm sorry. Like you're like in fifth
Well, Judge
grade.
said she didn't have a leg to stand on.
Hey, everybody, thank you.
She was there winging a prayer.
Anyways, that was my.
Yeah, I like live shows though. So yeah, we'll do it for the
Can I tell
TV
you
show,
what?
and it'll be even better, I think, because it's a visual radio.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, this will be great. We'll do it every week. We can do it if we have enough people.
No.
Can I tell you one of the best live shows ever was on the Midway, and it was a Dave Shelley and Chainsaw live show, and they did a thing called Puddin' Pants, and
I almost did. I got COVID, you. I better back up.
yeah, it's droplet. Russ, can you cover that up?
I remember that.
And it was great. And,
Oh,
and I
that's
will tell you one of my favorite things is not just Rickards and Abramowitz with a 5-gallon diaper full of chocolate pudding, but it was also Cookie. Can we just get Cookie in here? I want to so he can tell us.
Sure.
Cookie, let's get him going.
Now, he was not pudding pants.
He was not
No,
Puddin'
no,
Pants.
this is not.
There he is.
Nice. Look at him. Running down the hall. Into the arena.
There he is. You must remember Puddin' Pants.
Oh my God.
The greatest live remote. Was that like one of the top 3 live?
It had to have been.
Oh, that was.
Yeah, there were so many.
What was the? How did that whole
I
thing
wish I
start?
could remember.
How
I
did
think
that-
it was dropped into a. No. I think
They
stuff
filled
was-
his diaper up with chocolate
yeah.
Costco pudding.
Yeah.
Onto a trampoline or something?
Yeah, he
or
jumped off
Yeah.
the flybridge of
Yes.
the Tarawa. if I'm not
Tarawa, good pull.
mistaken. Okay, and it was a flawless, as Dave Rickards put, flawless operation.
Yeah.
It was just so. First of all, welcome to the program. Look at
Yes.
Hello,
Cookie.
Russ.
Hello.
Nice to see you,
I've been
Sully.
on the air with Cookie.
Tommy.
I've been on the air with Cookie 6-7 times in my life, and it's always I remember you guys. I remember every time I was in your studio. Like literally, when I get invited in to talk about business and stuff, it's fantastic.
Just a couple months ago, you were there.
I was, but the
great.
point is that you guys are so. I mean, you're used to your own little universe there, but this is a big deal for you guys to have guests in, and you guys make us feel really, really solid. Do you?
Well, Rickards is so good at that. He really makes makes everyone feel at home. Such a good interviewer, And I basically just sit there. Yeah.
That's not true, though. I mean, do you guys like having guests in the studio, or would you rather have them
Sure.
on the phone?
Yeah.
You like in studio stuff?
It's a free quarter hour. We don't. No,
Right, then they don't have to do anything.
and Dave has never left a good question unasked.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, there's nothing I didn't find out.
Wait a minute. I've been waiting for this for a very long time. Cookie, every time I walk into iHeart, and I see your name, Chainsaw, I'm still amazed at, seeing
real
you.
quick.
Let me say
play
this.
some love song music.
No, let me say this.
Maybe violence.
No, you don't understand.
England Dan
Here's
and John
why.
Ford Coley.
Your
Yeah, oh.
show, the DSC, the Dawn Patrol,
Yeah.
Dave Rickards, Chainsaw, Shelley, Emily Boyer, everyone.
Oh, my.
That's 30 years in
That's right.
San Diego. You guys are
You're still
celebrating.
mad about that. You're still mad about that.
No, I'm not. I respect it. because there was times where we used to butt heads. But I just want to say how awesome it is that you guys made it to 30 years.
Thank you, Tommy.
I mean that.
And you know, we share a studio, you know.
Yes, we're roommates.
Yeah, it's little Tommy.
Being carried out.
Yeah, we share the same studio. That's an honor, my friend. H-O-F-er, Hofer.
But I mean that. There's not too many people in the business still that I can say that to, and it's you.
And I got a big
congratulations.
I got a big scoop of love over here for you too. Because if you would have decided, yeah, you know what, Burger Prescott, I'm going to come with you over to 91X. And we'll just get rid of that.
It wouldn't have been
Nailz
Russ,
guy.
Shelly, and Chainsaw, though.
No.
Wait. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Oh, okay,
let's start a little.
Okay,
let's
I
start
want to
over.
know first of all. How did you get into radio? How did the whole thing start for you?
I was like a sports editor for my school newspaper. You know, I always played on a team, not with any great distinguishment. Is that a word?
Yeah,
it is now.
It is now.
And
You weren't a basketball star or anything like that?
I was a basketball player. Okay, there's a.
You're
a player.
6'20". You must have been good.
But and I loved journalism and took the pictures of all my buddies and all the various sports and gave it to them. And then at junior college, a friend said, disc jockey friend, you do all these skits and everything. You ought to be in radio. I said, I liked them, and so I manufactured all these crazy voices.
Oh, the best.
And so
By the way, that's when
it started.
That is a fair estimation of Cliff Albert, my program director. I mean, when you're like not over the top, but just slightly. Cliff Albert has
just a little bit over the top.
Yeah, that's
a little
it.
bit of that voice.
Blues Radio 600.
What city were you in?
Modesto, California, at junior college, and then I went to Fresno State.
Awesome.
Hate to brag.
That's right. And then you worked with a buddy that I worked with at 91X, Brian Jones.
Brian Jones was on our staff. Dean Opperman, Peter Napoli, all those people.
Oh,
Katie
was up there
Manor,
too.
Sue Delaney was on that
Well, you
same
were-
radio station.
You were. I remember Sue Delaney and Katie Manor with you, right?
I love Sue Delaney. Oh, my
so
Was it
talented.
Red Scott,
God.
Sue Delaney, and Rusty Nailz or something like that?
No,
Katie Manor.
Katie,
So-
yeah.
Check this out in our Fresno radio station. Remember Pat Gaffey of the
Yeah,
sure.
of the
Rich Brothers.
Rich Brothers, and Katie Manor, Sue Delaney, Peter Napoli, Dean Opperman, Brian Jones,
Wow.
Cookie Chainsaw Randolph, all from one station in Fresno, California.
And
You
there
guys-
was only one.
The mass exodus to San Diego.
So how did you
Exactly. What a coincidence that was, right?
Yeah.
I remember when you did arrive in San Diego. Can you tell us about that? How did you get to San Diego?
I'd been released by KDKB in Phoenix, and then sent out all the tapes and resumes to everybody. And Ted Edwards at KGB
Yeah.
picked it up and brought me in. And I think just a little while after that, Jeff and Jer came in, and then they plucked you for your legendary run, which was just dominant for 2.5 decades. But that was in 1987.
Wow. And what show were you on? On
Berger and
KGB?
Prescott. And then when Berger and Prescott, and we were all going to go to 91X, and I said, I just didn't feel comfortable. And that opened the door for Russ T. Nailz. Berger and
Is that when
Prescott
you
and
came
Nailz.
in?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I was there.
He was already
One man's
there.
ceilings,
Yeah.
another man's floor, big fella.
So Chainsaw saved Russ's job.
That's right.
No kidding.
And another local guy, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton,
Oh,
I was
man.
doing a parody of him in Phoenix. He was Hacksaw there. He was huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was big here too.
And I did a one-off parody. I'm Cookie Chainsaw Randolph, talking you from Baja to the Rocky Mountains. And I was already the stupid nickname Cookie Randolph, right?
Right.
And so people started calling me Chainsaw, 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 do that bit again.
That's where that came from?
That's where Chainsaw came from. I
never
got
put
here
that
just
together.
before Lee got here. He got here a few months later, and he's calling the Charger game. And every time he sees me, he says, "You owe me a royalty, man. You stole my
Topics on the table.
You know what?
Royalty checks.
Exactly.
I would love to get Lee Hacksaw Hamilton in here because
Yeah, we
He'd come
can.
by.
there's a guy that was legendary in talk. I mean, think about it. If you weren't a talk radio guy, and he was a sports talk
A
radio.
pioneer. He launched Jim Rome, was his protege.
I remember when Jim Rohn was doing our traffic on the Sully and Scooter
Right,
program.
right.
And then suddenly Jim Rohn goes over to and sort of, I'm not going to say talk radio didn't exist in sports, but man, he did it differently. and suddenly there was a new genre that came out.
Fantastic shtick that he has.
And he's got great hair. Him and Mark Larson.
Hold on.
The best hair
Oh,
in
he's got
radio.
good hair.
So wait a minute.
He's got great hair.
So Berger and Prescott with Chainsaw, you guys are, skyrocketing with ratings. Then they leave to 91X. That leaves you by yourself at KGB. What happens next?
Yeah.
So
Was
what
it
happens?
the Cookie Chainsaw Randolph show?
Like,
No, it was the all music show and Ted Edwards said, Cookie, you hire. I said, what? Yeah, you take the box of tapes and resumes that are coming in, because they did a radio and records industry magazine at
Remember
the
that?
time.
It looked like an old Reader magazine.
Right.
Remember the Reader?
Yes.
It
Wait.
looked like the old Reader magazine.
So it was your responsibility to find the new morning show?
They gave me the keys to the car. I couldn't believe this. I'm a third wheel, and you're making me choose it. Well, you probably know better than, and it.
You
Ted
did.
Edwards
You
credit.
chose well.
So what did you
so
do?
I pulled Boyer in from a board-out position. You're going to be the drummer.
So he's first.
Yes.
So he was just an engineer.
Right.
I
No
need rim
kidding.
shots.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I knew Shelley from Phoenix, brought her in.
So
now
there's
all
three.
we needed is the most important.
Yeah.
And
Well, did you ever think in terms of it was going to be you and Shelley and Boyer as the?
No. I had a design that we're going to have a big lead, a woman. Totally sexist. I wanted a woman on
Absolutely.
the show.
Well.
And Boyer and me, it was going to be a 14. And all we needed was the most important piece. And I was listening to tapes and resumes for 2 months. And meanwhile, you guys over there at 91 are just kicking our butts.
Thank you.
Wait,
And I'm thinking, what? And you guys too. And I'm thinking, what are we doing? And finally, after about 2 months of listening to all these
And this is when you
tapes.
put it in your realistic Panasonic player.
Yes.
And you're listening to snippets
Cassettes.
and over
not
and
easy
over
work.
and over.
And a couple guys came close, but I was really
Like who? Do you remember any names?
Here we go.
I remember a couple, but I don't want to out any. I
have, like, the top
There was a
four.
guy named not Ditch, but Slash or something like this in
Okay,
Kentucky.
here's my question. Do you
And then a guy named Dave in Milwaukee, legendary guy.
Wow, Dave Ryan?
Yes, Dave
Ryan.
Ryan.
Wow.
And I tried to get him, but we had conversations. But then I finally said, a box of, those mail boxes,
Yeah,
those
right,
plastic
sure.
things coated. I said, Ted, I'm going to find my host. If I have to drive to Vancouver, I'm going to drive straight up the 5.
Oh, just
and it
plug
was
him
at
in.
Loma Santa Fe. I put him in, and by Manchester, one exit
That's
later,
one exit.
Dave Rickards is our guy. His talent just
So wait a second. So you remember where you were the day
Exactly.
you put the Maxell tape
Yes.
into the
Yes.
into
Hit
the
the road.
cassette player.
Right. And I mean, he was already like the third or fourth guy. He's like, I'm next,
Yeah,
next,
backseat's filling up.
And then at Loma Santa Fe, I put in Rickard's
Wow.
cassette tape. He was in Denver, and I swear, but in Manchester, I said, pull over, call him now. This is it. This is it. I was so excited,
And
we got him.
He was
All right, and then
tracking.
the next thing that happens is this song comes on.
Oh, and it's nothing but love.
It's England Dan, John Porticola.
Hey,
Stay there.
tell us about the phone
He will.
call.
Stay right there.
The phone call. When we come
Coming up.
back.
We hear this is just a great. You ever get to hear the story on how a radio program that is legendary,
Legendary.
Yeah.
30 years
Kind of fell together.
on the air? Sully, little Tommy Russ Nail, and Cookie Chainsaw Randolph.
Still dance with the wind and the sky.
So you're driving down the 5. You're driving down the 5 freeway,
Yeah.
5 north.
Looking for your new partner.
And by the way, you have done this week where you are driving on the freeway. You've listened to Dave Shelley and Chainsaw as you're passing Loma Santa Fe.
Wow.
The place where Cookie Chainsaw Randolph
could happen
discovered
to
Dave Rickard. So,
Yeah, I discovered him. I invented him.
Yes.
well, wait a second. You discovered this program. You did. I know that you're a humble guy. And if you don't know Cookie, he is literally the most. I mean, you are hilarious and all that stuff. However, he's one of the most sincere guys ever. Like, because sometimes you meet people in,
Oh,
in the
yes.
studio.
We know who they are.
Like, there's some people that are
They're still around.
Yeah,
Like who?
Well,
Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
We
just
want
kidding.
that.
Just kidding.
I can tell you.
does it rhyme with?
No, and it does. So continue the story. So, did you make the phone call? Or did the program director make the phone
No,
call?
it was in my hands. I made the phone call, and it was like, calling up, like nervous, like a date.
Oh, yeah.
Which we ended up having when we flew him out.
Hello.
And we went to Point Loma. And we drove through the 163, and we went up to Balboa Park, and I mean, it was just so
And you hit it off.
cliche.
You hit it off right away, right?
Yeah. Well, I was putting on my best. You know, I had
Best Cookie.
Just you two?
But
Was it
this
just
isn't-
a 1981 Honda Accord.
Come on.
AC.
Yes, yes. How did you know?
Well, you had
Did you
that kind
take
of
him?
money back
Did you
then.
take him high atop Mount Soledad, where all the set? Where,
I did.
Of course, you
I did all the things.
Yeah, you have
and,
to.
You know, Dave. He's close to the vest, and I really didn't know how it was going until.
Yeah, because Dave, Dave is he very much a shy extrovert.
Yeah.
And
That's
as
fair
many
to
of us
say.
are.
Yeah.
Because he is close, and personally, he's very close to us. And then all of a sudden, he opens his mouth, and you're on the floor.
Right.
I mean, that's part
Right.
of the beauty of being around the guy.
Yeah.
And he came off some success, but this is San Diego. I mean, I always thought, how tough of a sell could it be? You're in San Diego, California. This is the most beautiful place in the whole world.
And what would be the chances of a guy with his talent not being under contract
Yeah,
and
right.
available?
Right.
That's
It was
exact-
just such a fluke.
Didn't
Tommy.
he see an ad in that trade magazine
Yeah,
too?
that was what he sent.
And-
he sent it
and
because of that ad.
Somehow, that's the gig that
You didn't get.
Jeff and Jer ended up filling that spot that he was coming out to get, or something like that.
a couple years before he did see the ad for Jeff and Jerry
that-
or at Y95
Okay.
and he didn't get it.
I remember.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
You swear?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he sent
That's
out the
something
tape. He
new.
was on his way to San Diego, I guess, possibly, but nope.
Wow.
So how did you ask him, hey, will you marry me? How did you say, like, how
Well,
did you ask?
I mean, if he sends out a tape, it's implicit that he's interested in the job. So I just took it from there and just played kind of that recruiting game as best as I could.
Were you the
being-
money man too with that budget?
No.
wise?
No.
nothing to do with that.
No,
Hey,
nothing to do with that.
So when something like that happens, do you is there a trial run? Is it like, hey, let's see how it goes for 60 days? Because he's just moving his family out, or I don't know what the
Right.
situation, or his wife, or whatever. I mean, is there sort of a let's try it before you buy it, or are you guys in?
No, we were in, and maybe you could ask him to speak of more of the particulars of how his angle with management and all that stuff, what their arrangement was. But as far as I'm concerned, it was in.
Okay, so-
and at that time, here's the weird thing, Tommy. Excuse me. Back in those days, I was doing 3 years runs with Berger and Prescott, 3 years with this guy, 2 years. I figured this was a 3 or 4 year deal, and then next, right?
Awesome.
And that was in 1990, and here we are.
On April 1st, 1990, the date of your first show, do you remember anything from that day?
Not in particular.
Really?
Other than once the mic went on, it was like, okay, we have some action going, and it was alive and different and big.
All of you were there, right?
Right, Dave Shelley and Chainsaw and Chris Boyer. And, there was some getting to know you, obviously.
Sure.
And it was different. He brought a Chicago type of mindset to, I was more skits
Yeah,
and this and that. Voices and all
sound
this.
effects.
And so it was a blend of the big radio, main lead, Jonathan Brandmeier type show. I don't know if that name means anything to anybody.
Yeah.
It means something to me.
Right. And where it's a big lead guy. And here I was coming with characters. So it was, it took a little while to really mesh, but
I love that
we
kind
hit
of
it off.
radio, the kind that you do, that I tried to do with voices, sound effects, theater of the mind.
Right.
And just
Right.
And
In your deal, you were the lead though in your show. You were the lead guy and you were the voice guy. If I remember, but
Well,
I was
I've
in college
nodded-
and I was listening to you, so I couldn't have been completely certain. But
the DJ skills were what the other people brought. I didn't know the
Right.
music. I didn't
Me
know
neither.
how to put a needle on a
Exactly.
record, make sure it
Precisely.
started, and all that stuff.
You and I have that same thing, except you have another talent that just still blows me away in this mutually complimentary
Yodeling.
session we're having. No, I mean, if you guys talked about the executive imposter and
Oh my
the
God, so-
stand up, forget about it. I mean, I've gone down YouTube wormholes with Russ.
Yeah, I have too.
For an hour, and it's just.
I have I've been in a
Hysterical.
TV. Russ is my work wife for 25 years.
Okay. Then you know.
And I will tell you, I tell him this all the time because nobody asks me questions about my career. They ask me stock picks, and hey, I got this question about this 401k, and I'm going to make a career change. That's the questions I get. I don't get, where were you when you were dumping chocolate pudding down the guy's diaper? I don't get those questions.
Or walking up to the Kraken and hearing the deepest, richest funk I'd ever heard.
Oh,
I
that's
walk
awesome.
in and it's Sully's band.
Yeah,
It's a great band.
I will tell you.
If you haven't seen it, kids, you gotta.
I will tell you that I don't get nervous at all when I get on stage. I'm not great at going out there pressing the flesh, but we used to play this bar called the Kraken here in San Diego, and because we play a lot of bigger venues, but we don't really rehearse. So I said, well, why don't we start playing a bar gig once every 6 weeks?
So
Love it.
tight.
And we're there like a Sunday afternoon,
Right.
and I see across the thing there that Cookie Chainsaw Randolph is walking in, and suddenly I'm shaking like Don Knotts.
Oh, yeah.
I can. I know it was. No, I got a celebrity in here. No, it was a thing. But,
And he might just hit his hand on the door in that place.
Right. Yeah. And he gave me a shout out, and I was going, whoa.
Yeah, I had to say something because I wanted to prove the fact that you were in there and such. But it was obviously it was great seeing you there. And also I tend to send all my stuff to Cookie just because I just want the mutual admiration. I want you to tell me how this. All right, stay there. Cookie Chainsaw. I want to hear two things. I want to hear how the National Basketball Association happened.
Oh, yes.
I'd like to try it on you, the comedian.
An honor to be ever included in that.
Yes.
On the air, Sully, Little Tommy, Rusty Nailz, and Cookie Chainsaw Randolph. More coming up.
About a 65-footer, emptied cart. So he'll be moderating the shove, as you see there. That's the name of his new band, by the way. Here's the break. Will it be long enough? And yes, it is. He did it. Only 38 tries. Just listen to this crowd.
I love that. Cookie Chainsaw Randolph in studio with us. Yeah, I'll tell you. So I have to say, a couple of great things you've introduced me to. And the great part about being a talk radio is because I don't have the same clock as you guys have. So I get to listen to you. I can actually listen while I'm working.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, when you go into a radio studio, you guys are all on at the same time, and you're all peeing at the same time. Right? You're on the break room at the same time, and you're all.
Yeah. Water pressure drops same time. Yeah.
Talk radio is a little bit different because I get to actually listen. Two things that you brought to my life, which I thought were fantastic, was first of all the baseball announcer guy.
Pete Hansen.
Brilliant
guy. Not me. And nothing
But still,
so good.
but
So
this is
fantastic.
during your sports segments you bring, and this guy has seemingly explicit play calling of baseball. I guess is
out and out explicit play calling.
It is the greatest thing. And then the other thing is, and I don't know, I want to know how this started. Is when you talk about the NBA.
Yeah.
You do this thing that you started the show with today.
Right.
How did that start? How did the National start?
Well, the Cookie Randolph character, as it were, is kind of a combination of a Dick Enberg, Al Michaels from way back. You know, that whole pukey, sportscaster guy.
So funny.
And so, meanwhile, in the National Basketball Association, and then I'd tell the story. And then one time we're doing this food-a-thon, this 30 hours in a row thing, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, an hour 27. And I go, meanwhile, in the National Basketball Association. And then the next hour, I put a little drop in, like a Bill Murray, that's insane. You're crazy. You're stupid.
Yeah.
And then one day, why not do a whole minute-and-a-half comedy bit in there?
Right.
So now, don't tell my bosses, the most talked about bit is when I go, meanwhile, in the National play a minute and a half of an actual good comedian, and then come out of it, skip all association. Yeah. I love that bit. And I'm going, it has nothing to do with me. It's just a gimmick. Yeah, right. So that's how I got it.
It is you.
Can we?
One time I was listening.
Can we?
I didn't even know he was going to do it, and I was listening, as I usually do if I'm up. But I hear my joke come on. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, you were part of that?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Snuck one in.
Snuck one in.
Really?
So visually, I thought, God, if he's here, I got to have one from my little sizzle reel. So
do we
ready in the control room? This is the biggest moment of my life.
Jared Coleman, our director, Curtis Matovich, our assistant director, is in the control room there, and I will tell you,
should be flawless.
Well, it should be flawless.
Should be.
But can you guys pull this on?
Sure, let's do it.
Are you ready?
All right. Meanwhile,
here we go.
All right.
Take one.
In baseball, still nothing. Meanwhile, in the National
I've got a 16-year-old boy at home, and I'm a hands-on father. In fact, I was choking him yesterday, little idiot. Yeah. I wanted to get his body pierced somewhere. I said, God gave you 9 holes, and that's all you need, all right? You're counting right now, aren't you? 3.
Skidpod Association.
Wow. I can die.
No,
a
you know the
happy
best
man.
part about this show
No,
is that
I'm
you get to
happy.
watch it happen. You guys don't get to see this. You get to
That
hear
was
this.
great.
That's fantastic.
And I don't get to see it, which I'm glad about. Don't look at the monitor.
Whoa! Oh my!
you know they call it a confidence monitor, by the way.
You know,
Not used to it.
Cookie Chainsaw Randolph has earned, his stripes.
Yeah.
And he can walk into a radio station. He can at 6 o'clock and do his show. But you know what? He doesn't. That's what I've learned from him.
Oh, I know.
He has the best work ethic. And really, that's what I've learned from you is that you work hard to
Yeah.
do that.
When do you get there in the morning?
Early.
I'm saying I'm
Very
gonna
early.
call it 3:30.
I'm the first guy in the building there
you?
by a
Good.
few minutes.
Okay.
And it's, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't prep too early for some of this stuff because
No.
it's got to be live and relevant.
And especially now since there isn't much sports, so you're
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
making chicken salad out of chicken
Yeah, right.
feathers.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and so I'm just looking for stories to fill that 6-minute break, for Dave, with prepared content so that he can gather his next segment.
Because we
And-
don't hear you on air with Dave and Shelley, or whoever the on the air now with, but
Emily,
Emily, and you're off in your own studio producing your element, right?
But I'm still present
Right.
with them.
We're hearing
and
you.
and it's during those commercials, so that I got to hit the can real fast and
Yeah.
get back. And those commercials are precious to prepare for the next, because I do one an hour.
All right, hold on, stay there.
What'd I do?
This is getting good. This is awesome.
What I do?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Yeah.
I want to hear about
All right, let's go.
the time I drove over to the exit by Lindbergh Field
Yes. Stay right there.
because of somebody I was listening on the radio.
Yes.
You did?
Yes, I did.
No.
I want to hear that story.
Or was it Montgomery?
Yeah, it was. So here, I wanted to place this placeholder in here. April 1st,
Yes.
1990, or was it 2003?
I think.
I think it was 93.
I think it was 93.
I first was getting into radio.
Yeah.
I got super lucky, and Shelley and Ruth 66 had heard me on the business station and had asked me, somehow said something about, hey, this guy is not your normal business guy, and I was asked to be on the air.
You're a natural.
I was in there, and suddenly I said, I hear these guys, but I haven't listened to the show every day. So I decide to listen to the show, and as I'm driving to work that day, I hear there's a space shuttle there. Stay right there. On the air. The best prank on radio history coming up on the air. This is the one that Chainsaw walked into when I was playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was.
Oh, this song?
Yeah, he stopped and waved, and I choked. Okay, so I have a question for you, and I was wondering, do you get recognized? Because radio,
A couple times a year.
really.
Yeah.
So is it because people visit the website, or they hear the voice?
Face, which one is it?
I think it's probably the website thing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think so.
And now this, of course, I'll be.
Well, of course,
yeah,
come
I
on.
won't
Let
be
me
able to
answer
go
that
anywhere.
because everyone always says that. Hey, you're on the radio. Does anyone recognize you? Of course they do because of social media.
Right.
Yeah, but before that, though,
Before that, not much, but even now.
the occasional
4 or
sushi,
5
the
times
sushi
a
bar.
year.
They're listening to the voice of the guy next to him. It's the sushi bar. Hey, that's the guy from Dave, Shelley, and Chainsaw, right?
Yeah.
That what? So when you are recognized, is it the national bit, or is it the most famous dupe in history on an entire city on April Fools that I got sucked into, and even I knew you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I was getting to know you guys.
Great lead-in.
Talk
Great
about
lead-in.
that.
That was in 93, and that was Dave Rickard's entire design. He wrote the script. Our program director, Clark Ryan at the time, was the guy from NASA who informed him that, yes, due to circumstances out at what was the place in the desert where the shuttle landed?
Yeah, right.
Edwards.
Edwards Air Force. It's not available because
yeah.
so we're landing the space shuttle today at Montgomery Field, which is a Cessna-sized airport, right above iHeart right now, as we
right
know.
there.
And obviously way too short for the space shuttle.
Yeah.
but people bought it.
Oh man, I bought it.
Because you sold it so well.
And Rickards, and I was the space shuttle captain, whoever it was, and, all that stuff. Rickards had the whole script laid out, and
And I understand it was a very simple bit, actually.
very
Yes.
simple bit, and hundreds, if not maybe knocking on 1,000
I'm
or
gonna
two
say, yeah.
people showed up out at
Montgomery Field.
and Rich Barrow was on the scene. Yes, there's people here. We can see the light in the sky.
Did you guys get called in for that one?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Have you talked to Dave about this one? Because you must.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
We're very upset about this unbelievable, unprecedented publicity you've gained for us. But we got a call from the police who are a bit concerned about this or that. So please, next time you have an idea like this, run it past us first so we can decline you and fire you first. Yeah, and we're just going, what?
Wow.
And so that's what happened
Yeah.
then.
Go get some ratings. Now we got them.
Yeah, right.
Shame on you.
We inconvenienced you for a half a day, and we got you on what is still considered, even on somebody had a list of greatest all-time pranks in all of history, and it
on
was
the
like
list?
number 37 or 38 of all time in American history.
Incredible.
You
So it's 2020, and you guys started April 1st, 1990.
Correct.
How do you feel about that? That's 30 years in San Diego.
Old? No. Good. No, I mean, it's fluky. You don't really think about it too much.
Well, like you said earlier, it's usually a 2 or 3 year contract that you
Right.
sign, and then I'm going to turn the page, get on the next vine, and swing over there.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. Because up to that point in my career, it was like 2, 4, 3, 3.
30.
I figured, and now 30.
And
No,
working with Shelley, like you did, I said, Phoenix, I think it was.
Right.
Kind of knew her a little bit.
Yeah.
Her laugh is the best.
She had a great talent, great voice, really smart, good reactor, very present.
Yeah.
And then Boyer.
There he is.
Such a unique character. I
love
love that guy.
Boyer, though.
I love that. No, I
you know
love
when
that
Boyer
guy.
and I became friends when I was driving
great.
1996, I was driving a Humvee to work.
Yeah.
I bought a real Hummer, like the real one.
That's how
and
you do
Boyer runs across the parking lot one day. What is that? And then suddenly he was the car guy. Remember he used to ride
was the car guy.
El Cajon Speedway. And
Yes, he did.
In fact, I still walk by his office at Kogo, and he's still, I look at YouTube videos on musicians, Rusty's comedy, ripping off old Tommy stuff. He's watching videos on how to change a carburetor
Yes,
on a
he is.
56 something. I mean, I'm not kidding.
Of a how old?
56 something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly,
It doesn't go
it's
past
true.
I'm a
1980 for
56
him.
Hey, do you ever pay attention to ratings? Are you? I mean,
I never hear about them, and God bless Jeff and Jer, who were the kings of the town for so. I never thought about the competition. I never thought about ratings. I just went in and did it. And
When did you know? It's at what point post that Loma Santa Fe exit did you know that this is a real thing? We're successful. This is actually happening. Like, when did you realize that we're not just on the radio, but we're one of the radio shows in San Diego?
Once we turned the corner and got real ratings and were legitimate challengers to Jeff and Jer in the 90s.
Right.
And
Well, I can better answer this. They've had great ratings forever. And they have kept it
Because
up.
you stare at ratings.
Oh, I do. I do.
rarely-
They've always had the men. Now they have everyone.
Yeah.
And they've had it for many, many years,
Yeah.
still to this day. And that's why it's a big deal to have you right here, because you are legendary. The DSC San Diego, 30 years.
Yeah.
Don't downplay that. That's a
I'm
big.
not. It's very odd and kind of surreal. Yeah.
There's not too many. There's like less than a handful of shows around the country that can say, "Hey, I stayed in one market for 30 years," and these guys did it. We didn't
A
do it.
loyal following. I know because you can listen online. People, if they do have to leave town, they're still with you.
It is that, and when you're in your little box, you don't really know how you affect people. And every once in a while, people say, "You know what? I was down for a while, and I was going through a rough patch."
And then it was
listened to you
last
guys."
Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I got so happy to hear that.
and you guys really pulled me through and said, "All right, now I'm reminded why we do this, and it does matter to people." When in reality, we just go in there and we're screwing around.
Russ doesn't actually believe that there's wires go anywhere.
Yeah.
There's sticking in the wall.
Right.
Yes.
I'm in awe. I love Cookie Chainsaw Randolph. He knows that. I kind of fall around like a.
Well, look at you three guys. Are you kidding?
Come on.
I want to learn about DSC 2020. I want to know
do
about
too.
Sarah, Emily,
yeah.
Anna.
Have them in. Have them in.
Yeah.
On the air, Sully, little Tommy, Russ, Nailz, and the inimitable Cookie Chainsaw Randolph.
Yes.
I felt like there was something missing in my day.
San Diego State going to win the NCAA championship? Apparently so.
Okay, how many tries? How many tries?
One take, Jake.
Okay, you saw the shopping cart thing earlier, right?
Yes.
That took 5 or 6.
Okay, hold on a second. Jared, can you replay the shopping? I want to replay both of these real quick.
That took 5 or 6.
I want to replay both of these because those
Okay.
are. So that took 5 or 6. How many are you saying this one is? I'm going to.
1 and done.
No way.
Scouts on.
65-footer, empty cart. So he'll be moderating the shove, as you see there. That's the name of his new band, by the way. Here's the break. Will it be long enough? And yes, it is. He did it. Only 38 tries. Just listen to this crowd.
How many?
So
were
5
those-
or 6 on that.
Couple
5 or
guys
6
just sitting
on
there
that.
watching you do it.
Yeah.
Just like some guys.
Well, they had already been watching me miss.
Yeah.
So, but the basketball one, I remember it was when the Aztecs were going to the NCAAs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There it is.
There it
Hold on,
is.
hang on, here we go.
oh, okay.
And
Bam!
it's in the hole.
And Emily and Sarah were reminding me, hey, can you post something, chainsaw Aztec-y? So I said, all right, I'll just do a trick shot, however long it takes, And so I got the ball like this and got the camera on the reverse. I don't forget.
Right.
Yeah.
And whoosh. And I heard the sound before I actually kind of saw it. Apparently so. It was a one-off. And
No
a bottom net switch.
more time.
It was
Here,
a
look at this.
halfway inflated ball. Can you hear it kind of make that half inflated ball sound?
Yeah.
And it comes back to you.
And it came back because it hit the curb thing there.
I remember
this
hearing. I
makeshift
remember hearing
hoop
you
I had.
tell the stories about you play recreational basketball, don't you?
I do, and I never amounted to anything, scholastically, if you will.
Do the guys know when you're playing? That's the guy from the radio.
Yeah, it's Cookie.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows. They're my buddies. And
He's also a Bikram yoga doer.
yes,
you're a
I am.
yoga guy.
Yeah, I'll do the yoga.
Russ, you ever tell the first time Russ came on the air and told us, Russ is not a big athlete.
Yeah.
And one time he came on the air and informed us that he had gone to Costco to purchase yoga shoes.
Got some yoga. New shoes for yoga.
Yoga shoes.
Yoga shoes.
well,
Court classics.
Never been to yoga.
Court.
Okay.
Young lady invited me to yoga. I thought I better get new shoes, man. I get to yoga, take her shoes off.
He bought those white ones, the
Yeah.
same ones that you wear with the old guy's rule
I
T-shirt.
figured white was so namaste.
Shirts off where you go?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Hot
Sure.
yoga?
Very hot.
Yeah, me too.
Bikram. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us about the show today because Shelley, retired a while
she did.
ago. Dave Shelley and Chainsaw. Now it's still the DSC, which is brilliant. Tell us about Emily. How did that feel that she had to replace Shelley?
Because let me say, I think she's doing a fantastic job.
Yes.
As do I.
I mean, I really-
it's
I mean,
different.
it's different, but it's
I love
good.
her vibe.
Yeah.
I love the vibe that she brings.
You got a new den mother because she does fill that role.
Yeah,
it's
and
awesome.
she's filled in quite nicely. Sarah has come in as the producer. She's hysterical.
Yeah.
And then Anna,
Yeah.
who you've worked with for
Yeah,
a long
I love
time.
Anna.
She's terrific as the producer. So we have those three ladies, Boyer, Dave, and myself, and we're having a ball.
And
It's-
that's Emily, by the way. If you don't know what she looks
she
like,
is.
that's her, and she's fantastic.
Yeah,
And
she's really cool.
I remember, the thing about Emily is when she walks, because you guys have a couple different studios that you guys work out of in the building. And I see Emily, and she's like literally the nicest person. Like I thought she was like, when the promotions people first get there and they're super nice to everybody because they're trying to make their way in. Emily's like naturally nice. Like she's like
Yeah.
the nicest person around.
She's a very down-to-earth girl. She's from Seattle. Seattle, Washington.
How did she get the gig? Was it she was part of the show though? I remember
She
hearing
was
her
at
voice.
San Diego State,
Yeah.
and she applied for the producer job in 2001.
Wow.
And she got it then, and she stuck with it and stayed there until 2018 and stepped into Phil Shelley's chair. So that's a long
Look at
apprenticeship.
that photo.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we
There's
go. There's
Abramowitz,
Boyer in the
Sarah,
far left back. That's
Clint.
Clint. And then Dave on the bottom left.
There's Emily.
Yeah.
Abramowitz.
Yes.
Sarah next to me, and then the tall lurch there.
That's
right.
So you guys, so I always love the story about how one time, when you think about the studios that we're at, it looks like a big hospital, and they're sort of next to each other, but there's nobody in the hallways. But every once in a while, you see like a big name walking down the hall. And Tommy likes to tell the story about how he had Russell Crowe park in front of your studio. So he could. I'll let you tell the story because I want to know about big guests on your show. But talk about this.
When the Jeff and Jerry show, when we were at Star 94.1, they put us on one side of the building, the hallway.
You guys were as far apart as you guys could be.
And then DSC was on the other side, the opposite side,
With 933 and Rock 105
in the middle.
between.
And,
Same hallway.
Yeah.
And I worked hard every day. I woke up to try to beat these guys. And so I worked hard at trying to get the greatest celebrities. And every time I booked a great celebrity, I would tell them, hey, when you'll see a sign that says KGB, park there. And then I would get them over there by their studio and parade them through the window, just hoping Cookie and Dave would see me just to say, ha ha. And I did. I did that with Russell Crowe. But
I never saw him.
I know. But,
but my question was going to be, what's the biggest name that you, because you guys had some big names. I heard Kevin Costner just a while ago. I mean, that's what I just.
Yeah, we had Kev on last week. And
That's one of the biggest names ever. Is there any, didn't you have Paul McCartney at one point?
yeah, he called and he was only supposed to be on for 10 minutes. And because we had to do a liner, a national giveaway thing at 10 after the hour. Said, well, let me stay on for that. Would you like me to read something?
Oh,
Be the
good, yeah.
seventh caller here.
Nothing going
on. He stayed for 25 minutes.
that's
You know,
amazing.
we had an hour with you today, and we didn't even get into the movie making part of it.
Yeah, you know what? You need
The movie making
you
part.
need to come back on the air with
Mr. Co-star.
I got to tell you, it's such a pleasure hanging out with you. I mean,
is a lot
I
of
love
fun.
hanging out with you in the middle, in the mornings every once in a while. I stop
Golly,
by,
Cookie's here.
and I'll tell you
Yes.
what, it's great. And congratulations on a great career. And
30
you're
years.
Such a humble,
Likewise.
fantastic guy.
To all three
And
of
thanks
you.
for all the love you've given us, man. I mean, it's been really
Big
awesome.
fan. Big
And,
fan.
30
of all
years.
three of you.
30 years.
Collectively and individually.
Oh,
We're just gonna send you off with
The DSC 1015 KGB.
Oh, boy.
Cookie Chainsaw Randolph.
Hello, yeah, it's been a while. Not much. How about you?
Skid Bottle Association.